everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of the TrafficTroupe podcast. I'm Cab, and with me we have my friend Blaze.
Group of flamingos is called a flamboyance.
Wow, interesting fact. And I have my other friend Johnny D.
A group of guinea pigs is called a muddle.
And a group of 3 cars is called the TrafficTroupe podcast. And we're coming at you with just the hard-hitting journalism and all the tea you can sip, girl.
I
What?
I was gonna say I love that intro actually. It sound like if people listen to this, they'll think we rehearsed that. It sounded like we actually
Yeah.
rehearsed an intro, and we did not. This was random shit that we just made up.
Yeah, hottest improv skills in the game. That's how we do it. And speaking of improv skills, what do you guys think about the cops?
All right.
Necessary evil.
They keep the roads where we live nice and orderly.
Okay, we have.
Although I'm a tractor, I don't really go on the road that often.
We
But
have
I
very
know,
different
like,
opinions.
it's important for you too.
Yeah, I mean I'm basically like cop adjacent. I got sirens.
That's true. I mean, you can just put your signs on and speed past anybody. No speed limits for you. You're like
So-
on God mode. Cab, I don't know. You get stuck with all the lights and stuff, so I can see why you'd have a different opinion on that.
Why I would have a different opinion?
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
can't just put on a signal and fly through the intersection. Everyone's got to get out of your way.
That's what it is. I'm just jealous. It's just a cab all day, but based out of jealousy, you know.
Oh,
Sure.
it's only because you are a cab.
Oh
It's true.
damn!
Starting off real strong. Starting off real strong.
Um, that was too good. How are we starting off this strong? It's gonna
Yeah, it's all
take
downhill from here.
Yeah, it's gonna take a big nosedive. All right, well here's why I said that, and just because I don't, that was a horrible segue, but it was just something that happened today, and it was just when I was looking at a bunch of stuff online and catching up with the news like a responsible taxi cab should, to talk to all my passengers. With the I digest a lot of my news through Reddit, and not necessarily in a curated way where I read the comments, but more so just collecting the links and reading the articles. However, if you're there, you're gonna look at the comments, and the response to both the protests happening in France and the riot that just happened in Chicago, with all the kids getting together, all the teens, and like smashing things up. Um, it's it's interesting that people it the hypocrisy sort of what people are calling for, where when there's a big protest, people kind of recognize that the cops are mostly just like the violent arm of the state, and they're not really there to help. They're just there to like beat people up, right? There's a lot better ways to stop protests and rioting than just singling out people and like beating them in the street. I guess I'm not an expert or a military tactician or whatever, but I would assume there's better ways. And then, but when something does is allowed to just sort of run rampant, people call for almost the exact opposite. They're like, oh, why aren't they bringing in drones to bomb all the kids in the street or whatever? And so it's
Well, sure, people want force on their side when they want their way, and then when someone goes against them, they don't want the force on their side. People always want to be in the position of power. Sure.
Yeah, but I guess, but there is something about like recognizing that it almost goes extreme the opposite way. Like, it's not like they were just saying for the Chicago thing. Again, these are just comments I'm reading. These aren't, the greatest political minds in the world. This isn't what the politicians are saying. This isn't what people in charge are saying. But you hear people call for this level of violence that's almost beyond what the police would even do in their violent capacities. And then when it's, when the protest footage comes out, or footage where cops are beating protesters, or it happened in Portland or whatever, people are calling for them to completely lay off and not help at all, right? It's like literally it's pushed so far the other direction. I just found it so interesting because I think the most consistent point of view is that the cops don't really help either way, right? Like, they're either too violent or they're too hands off.
Well, it depends who you ask. I mean, depending on where you fall in a situation, some might want them to be more aggressive in one situation, then something happens the next day and they'd want them to lay off. I mean, it's all.
I think the biggest, honestly, reason that there are cops and stuff, like even things that are maybe like whatever peaceful protests and things like that, is that just having that. I think that the hope is that just cops being there alone will be a deterrent for things getting too out
Well,
of
that's
hand,
true too.
more than wanting them to actually have to step in and intervene.
Well,
Oh,
that's why a lot of times, if you're going to have a protest or something like that, the the police they're not necessarily against it, but they want to know what's going on. They'll ask, you get a permit so they can have resources in case things get out of hand or an opposing group comes, or they need to plan for traffic affairs and things like that. So that's something to consider too.
Sure. Well, I would say the only thing they're useful for is deterrence. It's like having a lock on your door, whereas if someone wanted to break into your house, they would break into your house, right? Like, it's a deterrent.
Well, sure, but
only
then it's after the fact. You call police, you file a report, and they try to catch the suspect. It is law enforcement.
When do they file the report?
As soon as you call, you can file a police report for anything.
And when do they follow up on that?
Well, it depends on what's going on. I mean, sometimes you just file a police report for insurance reasons, or to document things in case there's recurring instances. I mean, it depends on the situation. It's hard to come up with a
Right.
theoretical.
But I just meant they're there for deterrence, right? Where it's like, if you watch any sort of protest footage and like a group of people get into a scuffle, right? Like, there's a small scuffle of 6 people that are just punching each other in the face, and the cops come over and they kind of break it up. Do those 6 people get arrested for battery? No, they just kind of break it up and hope that people won't continue.
And move along.
Which I think is pointless is the wrong word, because it's not pointless. It's minimal pointfulness or something.
It is a deterrent in a way. I mean, and it's not like they're just gonna, most of the time, just arrest you the minute something's wrong. I was sitting in a McDonald's quite a while ago, and I guess from what I understood, this guy was in there earlier in the day. I don't really know what went down, but the manager was still there and said, you're not welcome here anymore. You're causing trouble. Get out here. And he came back in, and the police were with this guy for about 30 minutes saying, you gotta get out of here. Not saying you gotta go home, but you can't stay here. You're allowed here. And, the guy's arguing, and they're like, you can go to a different McDonald's. That's fine, but you can't stay here. The person charged not want you here. You've already been here once today. And they basically told him, like, we're gonna arrest you if you don't just leave. Like, why don't you just leave? There's like a million McDonald's. Just go. And eventually, he left, but it took 30 minutes for this to go, resolve itself.
I feel
Well,
like
that is the deterrent. No one wants to be arrested.
I feel like that's a common occurrence at McDonald's, because I feel like I've seen that
Correct.
exact same.
McDonald's, Walmart, gas station,
I mean, McDonald's are homey. You know what I mean? It's just
You know,
it's very
McDonald's
comfy and
is a
cozy.
great thing, actually. People, wherever you go, there's, regional chains and local places. No matter where you go, if you go to a McDonald's, you know exactly what you're going to get. You can find something you're going to like. Like, this is what I order here. It's Wi-Fi if you need that. There's a bathroom, place to charge your phone. It's still one of the cheapest fast foods around, even with inflation. Like, Wendy's got expensive. Even Taco Bell. Used to be able to get a ton of food at Taco Bell for like $5. Everything went up. McDonald's, especially with the app, still very affordable. McDonald's is a good thing. Quality, maybe not so much. Consistency, absolutely.
Today, TrafficTroupe is brought to you by.
Yeah.
No, we're
I'm
not.
loving it. I don't know about you, but I am. And I've
Yeah,
been
I'm
loving it for a
absolutely
long
loving
time. I
it.
always will.
It's yeah, when I'm just in the mood for something delicious and wholesome that reminds me of, nostalgia in my childhood, I reach for the 3.29 bundle at McDonald's. Get yourself a McDouble, a hot and spicy McChicken, or a regular McChicken with a small fry, all for 3.29.
How
That's
about the free
crazy.
fry, the free fries on Friday with the app?
Are
Oh,
you actually
gosh.
reading an ad right now?
Why would I read an ad when I just love McDonald's with all my heart? Use
Hey, what
code
about that
Troupe.
ad a
Believe
while
it,
back
though.
where it was showing there was a bunch of people and the whole ad was like McDonald's like, oh, no matter what time of day you can come in and do your thing, and it shows this like group of people coming in at like 5 in the morning, and the girl's like, can I get like that's a very realistic ad. And people like rolling in 20 deep into McDonald's like after a night of drinking or something, they can barely think and they don't know what they want. That's very realistic. I thought that was a good ad.
True.
Yeah, I did go into a Taco Bell one night, like this was years ago, like super late, and there was just this guy who was just buying everybody Taco Bell, and I have to assume that he found a credit, like, found somebody else's card and was just using it. But I got free Taco Bell that night, so my
Hell
problem.
yeah. That's a,
Yeah.
what
And Taco Bell is great because you can take like the little sauces and stuff and use them on things. They always have a bunch of
I
stuff.
I actually, this is gonna be a controversial opinion, but not a fan of Taco Bell hot sauce.
I like the mild sauce from there, the salsa verde. It's good on eggs.
I
Yeah,
like
and yeah, I miss the sauces that they discontinued. But
Remember that
yeah,
thing back to McDonald's? Remember the whole thing with the Szechuan Mulan sauce a couple of years back?
yes.
The Rick and Morty thing.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to try it.
It was good. I mean, it was fast food sauce. It tastes like anything you get at the store, but
Yeah.
that was an insane moment in McDonald's history.
I like that. And to double circle back, you were saying that you got free Taco Bell from a drunk person late at night, and I have a story to share really quick. But Johnny, do you have any stories of like most what's like the most free things you've ever gotten from a drunk person before?
Oh man, I'd have to really think about that.
Because me and Blaze one time we got like a $70 cocktail like for free that someone left at the bar. Like it was one of those like
that sounds, you make it sound a lot more sketchy than it was,
Yeah,
actually. The way that you described it made it sound super sketchy. Oh, we just found this, we just walked up and there was just an unoccupied drink. There's a lot left, so we just went at it.
I
yum
don't know. I
yum
have to really
yum.
think about
For
that.
like a solid week, but it was worth it.
Delicious.
Yeah, I mean that's at one time. I don't know, but someone who is just drunk at the bar and their friends went home and are trying to find something to drink with. I remember one time I went into this bar, and it was kind of that era when COVID was kind of opening up, but kind of not, so no one was really sure what was going on. And I went into the bar, and as soon as I walk in, this guy was ordering shots, and I seemed like all his friends like, "Oh man, we gotta go, we gotta go." He's like, "No, no, no, like, oh, I'm gonna drink with my new friend here," and he just like bought me a shot, and then we did the shot, and his friends dragged him out of there. And then I left because there was no one else really in the bar at that. I'm like, well, this is boring, so I left. I just walked in, got shot this random guy, and left. It was okay.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I guess yeah, now I guess I have two, right? Me and Blaze were at the tiki bar and we made friends with like the table next to us. We were at the bar And then we made friends with these people at this table, and it was a bunch of couples, and it was just like a bunch of people that whatever, like 7, 8 different people, and one of the couples got in a fight, and so everyone's taking sides, and eventually they all just sort of have to leave, and one of the girls comes up to us and says, "Hey, do you want to finish our drink or whatever? Like we just ordered it and like took a sip or whatever." And it was one of those. It's a tiki bar, so it was like this giant, like 10-person cocktail made in like a treasure chest or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, or in a
Yeah.
diver's helmet or whatever one of those
It
like
was,
crazy
it was
ones
serious.
is. And those things are whatever it was like $70-$80 or something. And
Yeah. So definitely less sketchy than you made it sound briefly.
yeah,
We saw the drink come out, and
yeah. I mean, I've taken weird drinks from strangers that I haven't seen. Like I drank like some lady on the street gave me red wine in like a coffee cup.
what the fuck?
Yeah, it was tight. Um,
I bought a homeless person a beer once.
oh, you have to. That's the
I don't know
play.
if that's a weird thing. Do people do that? But I did.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. You have to. I've done that. I think I've.
Well, you don't have to.
You
I
have
haven't,
to.
so I don't know. Am I gonna get in
Trying to
trouble
be
if I don't buy
nice.
a homeless person a beer? I did buy a homeless person a sandwich once.
I
Well,
tried that and they didn't
Mother
want it. I'm
Teresa.
like, well, okay.
He got real greedy with the. Actually, I don't even know if he was homeless, but he was fresh out of jail, and
okay.
he was like, it was really awkward. Actually, the entire leading up to how I got in this position was really weird too, because like I was waiting for an Uber, and there are these two
Whoa,
people.
whoa! You took an Uber instead of a taxi?
Yeah, you didn't ride inside of cab.
Oh no.
It's like you're cheating
Wow.
on.
Okay, put me out of business, buddy. Go ahead with your dumb story.
Yeah, so waiting for an Uber, and there's these two like these just two old racist white people like yelling at black people that are passing, trying to get them to like, you know, like even spitting like near them and shit like that, like really fucked up shit. And yeah, it was clear that they were probably they were trying to provoke somebody into like assaulting them so that they could call the police on them. Like they were literally baiting people to try and you know and it just like
Did it work?
I don't know. I usually keep to myself and I don't say anything when I'm out in like public like that or whatever. It's somebody else's problem. But like I was so pissed off. Like, I literally just looked at them and I was like, I think I said something along the lines like "fuck off, scum of the earth," and I shouted it as my Uber was pulling up. So my Uber leaves me because he doesn't know that he or she, I don't even remember. They don't know the situation. They just see the person that they're about to pick up telling people to fuck off and saying that they're scum of the earth. So now I'm like, oh, what the hell? Like, I think I just was gonna. I don't know where I was doing. I walked a little bit, and there's this guy, and he's like, hey, he's like, oh, like I'm fresh out of prison. Like, could you like buy me a sandwich? He was literally like outside of a Subway, and I was just like, I felt like I had to counterbalance the world being a shitty place. So I was like, yeah, let's go eat your sandwich or whatever.
So,
I think I might have been hungry too, and I think I got myself a sandwich. But
so my
anyways,
man's was in jail, and you got him a sandwich worse than jail food. That's messed up. Subway
geez.
sandwich, man. Hey, really quick, we got a fun message from Scumped. He wants to let us know. Okay, so lesson learned: don't watch this while high as hell.
Why else would you watch it?
it's the
Yeah.
only way to watch it. It's the only way to do it, honestly, in my opinion.
We're Blaze for nothing.
Yeah, that's what you're looking at on the screen is 3 people talking. If it looks different, your thing got laced, boy.
We're back to that.
So, anyways, I was we go into the to get him the sandwich. Yeah, the story's not over because it gets crazier. Like it's
Oh,
just what a day.
shit.
We go in. First, like when we were going in, I kind of mentioned, uh, like there's just these like like terrible like shitty racist people I just like saw, and he was like, oh, like what did they say to you? Like this guy was about to go back to prison for me. He was like, I had my own personal like fucking bodyguard or hitman or something for a second, because he was like, what did they say to you? Where are they? Like that type of shit, and I'm like, oh no, it wasn't me. It was just some other people. And he's like, oh okay. We go in there and okay, I'm buying him the sandwich, and he's like, oh, like, and then he wants like a lot of cookies, like more cookies than, one person would eat in one sitting, probably. But I don't know, maybe he was really wanting some cookies. And he was just hitting on everybody in the subway. Everybody, doesn't matter, uh, man, woman, anything. He was hitting
First, it
on
was inclusive.
everybody. He was literally hitting on everybody that works there.
That's the play.
Dude,
That's
that's very sexy.
yeah, I mean that's you gotta do that. Also, I went to a restaurant recently that used to be a Subway and now it's a sushi spot, but they kept the counter.
Yes.
So
I went to one that's a Mexican place now, but it still has like the all the decorations, like that Subway looking New York map and the vegetables and stuff around. It's weird.
yeah, it was
It's
they,
like your mind is like ready for Subway, but instead Mexican.
yeah, they kept like the fountain machine the same place. They kept the counter with the glass and everything, and that's where they kept all the ingredients and stuff. It was wild.
I mean, I could see that. Like, it's cheap to. I mean, it's expensive to remodel, so might as well.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it really fit, right? Like they were. The whole point is it's like this fast and ready sushi spot. Like that's the point is that they're like they keep all the ingredients there and you can watch them make it and stuff. You know what I mean? But it was disorienting because it was my childhood Subway, so it was like all the tables were still where they were, and it was just like, well, this is wild. Um, yeah, people. I don't like. I've had that sort of thing happen where some complete stranger sort of adopts you for like 15, 20 minutes,
Yes.
and you're like you're instantly like their brother slash child combined, and they are gonna go to war for you, and you're like, dog, I'm chill, you know.
I kind of like when that happens.
I mean, and I've had a turn where it's like, oh, because I'm been so protective of you, like you're coming home with me. You know what I mean? I've had that too, and it's like, you didn't do anything.
So this is your first experience in prison. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. No, I've had yeah, you know that story where it's like I was on the subway
Yes.
and some guy was like, you know,
Took an interest in you.
yeah, he was like, he was like, oh, you got a girlfriend? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, you ever do like three ways or do any like have you ever like experimented with like your sexuality or
Exclusively.
whatever? And I'm like, nah, like I'm just like super vanilla, whatever. And I was fine talking to the dude because it's like I'm a very open person, you know. I'm a fucking taxi cab, right? Like I just drive around the street and talk to people, and you know. But then he's like, you know, give me your number, like let's go out or whatever. And then I said no. Like what are you talking about? You're a complete stranger. You're a psycho, you know. And then he was like being really, you know, harassmentful. And then I get to my
Harassmentful.
yeah. It's a new word. Look at the dictionary. And then I get to my stop. I'm like, oh, it's my stop. Bye. See you never. And then I get out, and something tells me like, watch your back. Like, don't just walk away. So I walk a little bit down the platform, and I watch the door, and it goes ding ding, door is closing, or whatever other cities, you know, non-identifiable door closing noises. And then his arm sticks out the door as it closes last second, and he rips it open like fucking Jason from a horror movie.
He wants you
And he
bad.
peeks out the door, sees that I was watching him, and then he slinks back in the car.
What the?
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
He was nuts too. Like, I've told the story a million times. I've actually told this story as a professional speech in school before, but I always leave this part out because it's like it's not really applicable, but for here it's kind of funny. Is some homeless dude came on the train asking for food, and I had a full thing of Oreos because I got it for free from work, and I was like, "Oh, you want these Oreos?" And the guy's like, "Nah, no thanks." And then so the guy with me was like, "Oh, you're gonna turn down food? Oh, I get it. You just want drugs. You just want fucking drugs." And he just started screaming, "You want fucking drugs," over and over. And then the next stop, the guy sprinted out of the train, the homeless guy.
The guy you were with?
Or the guy that was trying to hit on me or whatever.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
okay.
guy was screaming at the homeless dude, "You want fucking
Oh,
drugs?"
man.
And then after all that aggression, he just turns to me and is like, "Oh, so what were we talking about?" It's like, okay, psycho.
Yeah, man, that's creepy. That's creepy. Like, wow.
Yeah,
That,
but moral of the story, I'm handsome.
yeah, that actually is a segue into a story when about how I got hit on by a pedophile.
Oh,
So
cause
How
you're
old were you?
childlike.
I was like 20, 21. I don't know.
It's crazy
I
because
was very much.
you have a full mustache and goatee.
I was
Yeah, this guy must have been ancient.
I was very much a legal adult in college. And that's the whole time. That's all I could think is like, I don't get it. I'm not a child. Why are you into me? That was my takeaway from the whole thing, actually. I know it sounds fucked up, but like, I was just like, I don't get it. I don't understand. And then like, cause I used to, yeah, it was when I took the bus to the train, to get to school. And I remember I was on the bus one day, and there was a bunch of like, I don't know, maybe like middle schooler or high schooler, like that kind of age, kids, and and then he was talking to one of them, and I was like, oh, what the fuck? Like now I'm chopped liver. Now that you got now that you got real minors, I'm nothing to you.
That's that's so messed up. That's like the Key and Peele sketch where they're at the slave auction and they're mad that they're not being
Oh
picked or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Or there is a thing in I don't know if you watched Shameless, where one of the guys found out that like his coach like molested like everybody on the basketball team, but he was on the basketball team and didn't get molested. So he was like, "What was wrong with me?" He was like,
And now
I'm
he's
like,
no self-confidence.
Yeah. Wow, way to destroy someone's confidence there. That's so
Why
messed
wasn't
up.
I good enough for you?
And
I
I
think that guy
bet
did get arrested though. Side note, so
who?
That's
probably
good.
for the best. The pedophile, the
Oh,
best pedophile.
Good.
thank God.
Yeah, it's good. He's been apprehended, folks.
Oh, okay, phew.
Everything's under control.
So, if one were to, God, this is a messed up segue. If one were to get molested by a pedophile, they would probably, have severe mental health problems, right?
Oh, segue of the night.
There
Oh
is
my
no way for this to end well.
good God. So anyway,
Jesus.
we're a fairly new channel.
Okay.
Go on.
We're a fairly new channel, new podcast, and
We are so young.
we're so young, and I was trying to make friends, and just kind of see what's out there. Right, I've never done a podcast. I'm a floating taxi cab. Right, I've never been a floating taxi cab before, and so I was exploring around Twitch and YouTube, and I was trying to target two communities, both the podcast community and the VTuber community, because that's sort of our crossover. And it was so interesting to me that that a pervasive doesn't have a negative connotation, does it?
No.
Oh, okay.
I
I
wouldn't say
sometimes
so.
I mean I said whatever I said before, harassmentful. I don't know words. There's a pervasive like through line um, in the VTuber space, and I guess maybe it's just a lot of small Twitch channels uh, of being like the entire content of what was happening was like mental health discussion, which is interesting to me because I know that a lot of channels stray away from it, both out of I mean, frankly, like a stigma aspect, like they don't want to associate with people having problems, but also out of a aspect where like they don't consider themselves therapists, so they don't want people like dumping their problems in their chat and like not having any solutions for them, you know. So it's like a both a selfish and a selfless reason. But in the VTuber community, it's like an integral part of every single channel I stepped into. There was at least, you know, one person in chat, or like every 5-10 minutes there'd be some discussion. It was super interesting. Thoughts?
I don't have any problems. I'm perfect.
I just honestly don't really have anything to say about that.
Do you find it interesting? Because you were saying,
I think I know why. I do actually. I think why you don't see it with bigger channels is if people have already kind of like gotten their brand, they don't want to. It's a touchy topic, right? Unless you're someone that personally deals with it.
Well, maybe it's more of like if you understand with the bigger thing. If you are have a wider audience and you're a bigger channel, so to speak, then you likely are settled into some sort of routine. You have more to talk about, and people you have like an established personality. The people who watch you would kind of already know what you're all about and roughly about your life or what have you. Whereas if you're smaller, they're still in this sort of getting to know you phase. It's very similar to a normal IRL, if you will, relationship. So you're just kind of like testing the waters and being a little more vulnerable and starting to connect as an actual person instead of this anonymous figure on the internet. So I think that's just kind of how normal human are, in the case may be, interaction may be. It's not surprising.
that's a very good point. It just again, I found it more so in the just in the VTuber community in general, but I guess also smaller channels. I just thought it was really interesting because it's like, because you know, it's like, I
I
think
mean,
it's I just enjoy. There's a part of me that loves the openness, and I want the stigma against mental health to go away. I know a lot of people personally that have, you know, their life has been ruined by their mental health, and they had a lot of struggles, not because of the internal stuff, but from external judgment and stigma. So I think it's cool to like normalize it and have that kind of stuff go away. But
Well, for VTubers in particular, maybe just because you can be a little more open if you don't have your actual face out there. There's
correct,
sort of a distance between, that it makes it a little more comfortable to talk about, a little more open.
sure. I mean, I personally identify with that, right? Like, you know, now that I'm a floating taxi cab, I can do whatever I want. Like I don't. I think
True.
you know this podcast is the first time I've ever sworn on the internet. You know, like even stuff like that. You know,
I
even just
mean,
simple
come
things.
on. You weren't like telling people to fuck off playing Call of Duty when you were a teenager.
Maybe it is interesting because I definitely had that sort of like gamer phase or whatever. But I was literally thinking about that today. Something I forget what it was, man. I should have written it down because that's actually an interesting topic. Something came up where I was sort of, oh shoot, sorry, I forgot to turn my heater off, and there's about to be some microphone interference for a second here. But looking back, like because my my mom and my grandma were pretty strict about like language and you know different sort of puritanical views or whatever. Um, I never had a phase where I was like really going off online. Um, which I guess I'm lucky that I sort of skipped that.
Yeah, you didn't feed the trolls. That's a good thing.
Yeah, But I
You
mean, I
weren't the
definitely
troll
I
either.
definitely mess with people or whatever. But like, yeah, I'm sure I swore a few times. I mean, because those fucking bouncing Bettys, assholes.
I'll remember my favorites, like like I guess racist thing anybody ever said to me on on like probably Xbox, whatever live or something when I was young.
Okay.
Somebody, uh, so like my gamer tag was without like saying specifically what it was. I mean, I can. Who cares, right? Whatever. Uh, it was Escobar.
Okay.
So it was like Hispanic or something. So I'm assuming that they were being racist towards that, and they told me to go grow some chickens. And I'm like, what? That's the weirdest, fucking most hilarious insult I've ever heard in my life. Grow chickens? Do you like why do we grow them? Like
Plant
they're chicken
seed.
plants? I mean, if you're gonna like be offensive and racist, at least like have it make sense. You know what I mean? Like grow some chickens.
Honestly, every race likes chicken.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Except for chicken.
Oh, true.
Chicken is not a race; it's a species.
Wow,
You're
that's
not a
very
race.
racist of you to say that.
You want to be racist against chickens?
Yeah. The
No, you know what? Actually, no. People aren't racist against chickens; they're sexist against chickens. There's all kinds. If you look at like local ordinances about keeping backyard chickens and things like that, it's always no roosters because they cockadoodle do in the morning. They wake people up. There's all kinds of ordinances against keeping roosters. Chickens, hens are okay. No one is racist against chickens. They're sexist against roosters.
oh
The more you know. This is a great. I never thought
Get
that, but
informed.
that's actually quite interesting.
No one's talking about this.
Yeah.
justice for roosters, man.
Honestly,
RLM.
are these like? Is there like a what's that? What's that community called? The men's
PETA.
right people? No, like the
Nambla.
manosphere. Is there like the rooster sphere, or whatever, where roosters can talk about being discriminated against by the legal system?
Like the manosphere?
Yeah, that's what I just said. Like the equivalent of that.
Oh,
But
the
for roosters.
cockosphere?
Yes, I was just gonna say
Cockosphere.
cockosphere. The cockosphere.
Yeah.
Yes, where cock can get together and talk about cock issues.
Hell yeah.
Cockosphere. That's a great
Yes,
word. So I talk about words. Cockosphere.
cockosphere. Yeah, we made up 2 words this
Wow.
session. I'm very proud of us.
Yeah. That's true. It's
We need like to brainstorm like a product right now, and it's gonna be named Cockosphere. What is it? What would you do? Who would need a Cockosphere, and what would you do with it?
I think it would just be like a brand of like chastity
doesn't need
gear,
it?
right?
Random chastity gear?
Yeah. Like
Oh my god,
you need
that's
a
great.
sphere to contain all your pleasure or something.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Let's make this happen.
It should be
I'm
shaped like an egg.
100% in.
Like it should be shaped like an egg.
God, does Mistress need more room to play? Cockosphere.
Everybody watching, this is like legally trademark pending, so we have
Yeah,
a
it's ours.
timestamp in
TrafficTroupe owns
this video.
Cockosphere.
It will hold up in
Hands
a court
off.
of law.
Yeah. It's true. I have a patent pending. I'm filing the paperwork as we speak. That's one of my magical powers is I can do paperwork mentally. Even though I'm sitting here on this roof with my buddies.
You're just full of surprises.
Yeah, my brain, it's one big e-signature. Yeah. Speaking
You realize
of,
how
that's the
pointless
transition.
signatures are nowadays? Like as time goes on, signatures are so like anybody could think. Like, if you sign like on the little computer when you're buying something, it always looks like crap. And
All
then
right.
people will like, oh, can I e-sign? And it's always just like pick something that looks like cursive. You could pick a font and then type your name. Sometimes it'll put a little code by it, but if you change the file format or print it, there's no security to it anyway. So signing something nowadays is like pointless.
Yeah, I had to recently like had instructions to print something like from an email, an attachment on an email, print it, sign it, scan it, email it back. Like that was the instruction on this. And I
It
uh
loses quality each time, so if lots of parties are signing it, by the time it gets to the last one, it just looks like shit. It's all cockeyed on the paper.
but I this was interesting because this is the first time that like I got, I don't know, a year or two ago, like about a year or so ago, I got a laptop that like has a touchscreen, and then I have one of those whatever like did like pen things that you can like write with
A
on it.
stylus.
Stylus, yeah.
Wow, someone doesn't know words.
Anyway, so I had a cockosphere that I was using on the screen, and to to sign it. This is the most fun story ever. I forgot where I was going with this. Oh yeah. I think going back to what you were saying, for the things where you do it like with your finger and it like just looks like absolute shit. The thing about that is if I think that if there was like some sort of legal dispute about that that you had with it, you would win because it would be like this isn't my signature. Look at that. Like what the fuck is that? And you
Well,
you
here's
have
another thing. How about
plenty
they like
of
they don't teach
examples
cursive
of your
anymore?
signatures.
Now
What?
they don't really teach cursive anymore. How do you sign your name?
Squiggle?
Well, that's anybody. Anyone can squiggle. Oh, it goes to
No.
what Blaze was saying. Like, how do you hold up? It's like, yeah, that's not mine. That's not my squiggle. That's not my mark.
Yeah, and you'd have plenty of things that you'd signed in the past to prove that your signature looks nothing like that.
Well, like if they need to like sometimes they do things in like for court proceedings where it's like if you're gonna like foreclose on a mortgage and someone's like, oh well, it wasn't me, I didn't sign that mortgage. Well, then they foreclose on the person purporting to be, and then it goes through anyway. I mean, there's precedent for crap like this, and like it's never in your favor.
I think signatures are awesome. And
I
they're
think,
such a good safeguard.
yeah, I was
Oh,
upset when I found
yeah,
out that
sure.
they stopped teaching cursive in school, actually. Because
It's yeah, well, right. Like it's like how adults. Right. Remember, like as a kid, your mom doesn't want you to be able to read something, so writes in cursive, and you can't read it. And then when you finally can, it's like you're being accepted into the adult world, and now you can write things and make kids younger than you not be able to read it. There's a power in that.
but I feel like it started to already it phased out of popularity even our generation. Like I write, I don't print anything. Anytime I'm doing anything, I write. And I don't know anybody else around my age that does that.
What do you mean? Wait. What you write,
Huh?
not print? What?
Like I
What?
use cursive still.
Yeah,
Oh,
I do
okay.
too. I do.
But
I write
okay.
cursive like exclusively.
But I feel like that's rare. I feel
It
like
is.
around
Because a
even
lot of people don't
our
remember how
age.
to. Well, right, because people don't write much anymore anyway, and then people
Yep.
just know how to do their signature and then not much else, or they don't remember how to make certain letters, and there's different ways too. Like some people, depending on how you learn, will make letters differently.
Slightly, yeah.
Like I've seen some people with like a cursive capital Q, it looks like the digit number two, and then other people will bring where you start around to the bottom of the line, then go up and around, and then Q, so it's like more of an O.
Uh,
Or like some
pe-
people will take the P, capital P, and leave it unattached. Then others will take it like for the from the bottom where the loop touches the stem, go up around, and then kind of have it squiggle along under the loop to connect to the next one. So it looks almost like that, like Lori's season salt symbol. Like people do different things like that.
Yeah. Well, I know we're trying not to dox ourselves, but I legally changed my name to the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy red dog, so that I would never forget the cursive letters.
It's true. I saw that happen. He did
Uh,
jump over the lazy dog.
so sorry for leaking.
Oh, docked.
Sorry for leaking out of my cockosphere, dude. The yeah, it happens. Cursive. They got rid of teaching cursive so they could fit CRT into the day. In the schools. Did you guys hear that?
CVT.
Wait, I don't know if you're bullshitting or if
Of
that's
course
true.
I am. Why would they?
I would believe it. I don't know.
Curriculums don't like. There's no such thing as taking one thing out to fill something else in. Like it's not some zero-sum game. That's not how curriculums work. But people do make those arguments. Same thing with like the budget or
But you can only learn so much shit, so you kind of do have to do that.
Yeah, but it's not. It's a framing issue. One thing isn't removed because something else is deemed more important. Like things are rediscussed and redeveloped over the years, right? It's something with like budgets where they're like, oh, why'd they fund this? They could have funded this instead. It's like, no, they collectively thought of everything and then put it together. They might be wrong, or wrong in your opinion, but it's not like
I will believe you
individual
when it
decision.
comes to school curriculums and teachers because I have more faith in teachers, but I don't believe that around politicians. I don't think they.
Yeah, but I'm just saying there's no such thing. It's not like a zero-sum thing. There's no such thing as them deciding, let's take this one thing out so we can put this one thing in. It's usually negotiated in some sort of package. That's all I'm saying. And my package is wrapped up in a cockosphere. We gotta get we have to get the branding going.
What's that? What's like MakeSpace or something like that? We can or we can crowdfund it and make the cockpit.
Oh yeah, we need to contact some like angel investment firm, some venture capital. Blaze, you got us the venture capital hookup?
Nope. I know who to not go with. That's it.
Well, Shark Tank.
Don't go with Mr. Wonderful.
Let's Shark Tank it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only want a deal from Mark Cuban. That's all I'll take. Or the nice lady, not the mean lady.
So, how do you feel about Cubans? The sandwich.
The cigar.
Is the sandwich just like ham and pickle and mustard or something?
And like Swiss, I think.
Yeah, they're good.
Not a fan.
I don't like Thousand Island dressing. What's that one that has Thousand Island on it? That's like, oh, Reuben.
That might actually be.
Reuben.
Oh, Reuben.
It rhymes. I hate
Reuben
Reubens.
Cuban. Yeah, Reuben isn't that like corned beef?
Yeah, it's like corned beef, Thousand Island dressing, and
I'm not big on
rye bread.
I'm not usually big on corned beef either.
Me neither.
What? No, corned beef is the best. It's just the Thousand Island sucks.
My friend made a. You hate sauce, yeah.
I hate sauce and
flavor. The sauce. I've never met anybody in my life that has hated sauce and condiments as much as you do. Like,
I just hate most of them.
You just eat dry sandwiches, dry bread,
plain bagels,
pasta. Not even sauce. Not even sauce on your pasta.
Yep, butter
just
noodles.
Raw noodles.
Well, I like.
Well, sketty, like Honey Boo Boo. Remember she makes sketty and butter.
See, I'm Honey Boo Boo.
You like sketty?
That's what people always have told me. What'd she say? Like holla get dollar or whatever she said.
It's like a holla for $1 or something like that, which is gross considering she's like.
That's what you when you that's who the system really failed, right? Like when people want to talk about all these
Mama June.
People want to talk about all these like groomer things. It's like those child beauty pageants.
Yeah,
they spit out holla get dollar, like whatever that is. Like yikes.
But the system failed Mama June too because she was like a slope. That's sad.
She was a slope?
Yeah, like her thin neck area was just like slopey. It wasn't like there were two different parts. It just kind of like went.
What?
It was upsetting.
He's calling her like a triangle or whatever.
She it's kind of
isosceles.
Like she's kind of isosceles, I guess.
Equilateral.
Scalene.
Scalene.
Ooh, I always forget
That's a
Scalene.
good name. Like some girls like,
Scalene.
hey, buy me a drink. I'm Scalene. That
I
sounds
thought
like.
Scalene was Honey Boo Boo's sister.
What was the dad's name? It was like Papa Bear or something like that.
Yeah, I think it literally was Papa Bear.
Did you actually? I've never in my life
I've never
seen
watched
that
episodes.
show.
I just
Me either.
You
remember
seem to
Sketty
know a
and
lot
Buddy.
about it.
I
You
see
Well,
seem
yeah,
to know a
I
lot
know all the
about it.
things that everyone knows, like Sketty and Butter
I
and
don't know
House
any
and
of. I
Dollar and
don't
Mama
know.
June
I
and
don't
all
know any of this shit.
that. You
Do you
now.
know this, Cap?
I've
Check
never
the
seen
Honey
an
Boo Boo
episode.
Wiki.
I only saw the trailer that went viral, and then clips on the internet. But yeah, the clips that go
Remember
on
the
the internet.
governor of Georgia got upset because he said Honey Boo Boo made the state of Georgia look bad, which is true.
Georgia got upset.
Yeah, she was in Georgia, and the governor from
Oh,
of
okay.
the state of Georgia got upset and said that it's making our state look bad because Honey Boo Boo exists.
I mean, not wrong. I mean, it's so
Exactly, that's
tough
what I'm
because it
saying.
really is like it's not the child's fault. It's obviously the parents.
He was standing up for his state. He was being a good governor, trying to exile Honey Boo Boo.
Yeah,
You have to go to Florida, Honey Boo Boo.
I'm always torn. I'm torn on precocious children, where it's like, there's a part of me that, first of all, I would never hold anything against a child. I don't actually like the negatives about I'm about to bring up. Aren't
This
actual
was age ago.
negatives.
How old is she now? She's got to be like, hold on. How old
40?
is Honey Boo Boo?
40. Stop fucking 40, dude.
He's 17 now.
Yeah, I just
Oh, that's
there's yeah.
upsetting.
Little kids that are precocious are tough. Where it's like, I don't know, like Shirley Temple was cool or whatever, but
How
Did
could
you
be
know her?
stocking.
yeah, we were tight. We had so many animal crackers in our soup. But
You know what
yeah,
they say about
uh,
girl with a lot of animal crackers in her soup.
yeah. Anyway, like yeah, the kids are like, I don't know, fuck them.
I love how this. I love how that
Oh.
your whole statement devolved
That was the
from.
point.
You know, I can't. I gotta.
Yeah, I'm not trying to hate on
Kids,
them,
man. But fuck them.
but shut your mouth, child.
Fuck them kids.
I think it just needs to be channeled the right way.
How do you channel Honey Boo Boo in the right way?
I don't know, a muzzle.
Don't. Don't put it on television.
Don't allow
Yeah,
her
you
to-
should treat like I don't know. I think there's a way. I don't know. I think everyone just has like
And how would you improve Honey Boo Boo?
Not
just
having
wouldn't-
her on television.
yeah, I wouldn't have her on TV. Or, you know what I mean? Like as a parent, like I'm not even gonna make like all this family vlogs and all that shit. It's so messed up. Like I think I think there's a certain point where, there is definitely a tough line, and it has to probably do with individual maturity level. But like, what was that girl that like danced in like Sia's music videos or whatever?
Don't know.
No idea.
You've never seen that? Like the
No.
Chandelier song. She's super famous and she.
I don't
danced.
think I've ever seen a Sia music video.
Are you out of your mind?
Yeah, me neither.
Wait.
I was just swing
I
on the
wish it wasn't
chandelier.
copyrighted. We've
I
watched, like-
imagine that her video was about that.
It's awesome. Her videos.
She's the
are
one
awesome.
who never shows her face, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
she's.
I know who that is.
Her music videos are so sick. It's like there's this kid in like Shia LaBeouf dancing in a birdcage and stuff. It's tight.
Wait, Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah. I wish if it wasn't copyrighted, I'd watch it right now. You know, but I don't want the whole episode to get claimed or whatever.
Yeah.
But, especially at the tail end, like really tripping at the finish line here, playing Shia LaBeouf music video. But, oh, it's so
Maybe
sick. Anyway, but
Good
I got like
dreams.
that girl went super viral, and she was probably 15 or something at the time, like the dancer. And it's like, okay, like maybe she's allowed to like sort of make her own decisions and decide to be famous in the dance sphere or whatever. But like if I had a kid and they were 15, maybe I'd make that judgment there. But if I had a kid and they were like 9, I probably wouldn't. Let
I
them
don't
be on
know, but
TV.
there's some kind of balance though, right? But think about it this way. How weird would it be if there just weren't children and media? Like, don't you think
Correct.
that would
Yes,
be
exactly.
weird?
It like
It would be
if like
weird.
the Little Rascals didn't exist or any kids movie. Correct. It'd
Yeah.
be super weird.
So like, even though I kind of get what you're saying, I think there's like some sort of balance to it. Maybe I don't know.
I agree. I think it is just a bad. I know. now that they've started putting in, first of all, Hollywood got all those laws that protected kid actors and their money gets stored away in trust funds and stuff. With all that kind of stuff in place, I think that's with it being regulated, that I think it's less harmful. But I'm more talking about like the family vlogs, like these families that tape their kids all day or whatever. Once laws get passed to protect those children from like their exploitation, then I'd be fine with it. I think there's already a few states that have passed it where like a certain percentage of like AdSense money has to be like set away for them as if they were like actors in their own family.
Really?
I just would not want my
What?
life. I would not want my life or children's life on the internet like that.
Correct. And that I it's what I'm saying is largely a personal opinion, right? Like I'm not saying that it's necessarily evil to have a family channel. All I'm saying is
No,
that you're a monster.
I understand completely what you're saying.
I just think like the Ace family, fuck them.
Don't even know.
I have no idea who that is. I don't know what it is.
They're like one of the big family vlog channels,
Oh, okay.
and they're just like horrible people,
I feel like most of these are always like in the South somewhere, and they have like a million kids. Or they have like kids like spaced out. Like they have a kid going to college, but also a 3-year-old.
It can be. I feel like it's more prevalent in like sort of like LA, like sort of like people trying to emulate a certain like lifestyle, or Miami or something.
I feel like family stuff is not a very LA urban thing. I feel like people who are in like bigger urban centers like that are more about like more trendy, interesting things.
Well, it is. It's like
oh, my kid's going to kindergarten.
It's like being the trendy family. It's like being like Gwyneth Paltrow, like my kids.
Yeah, like celebrities do.
Streetwear or whatever,
Yeah, everybody knows, but everyone knows that. Everyone knows that's fake. Nobody actually, I hope not at least, would think like, oh, this family is just like Gwyneth Paltrow when you're just some random YouTube family.
They can be. I mean, they're very like the Ace family is extremely wealthy. They live in like a $10 million house.
Yeah, see, I have no idea who the hell these people are, so I should not.
Just imagine 2 LA douchebags had some kids and then filmed it. Right? It's like just
their name is Ace, the Ace family.
Yeah.
Is that their actual name?
Not popular just for being a family.
Oh my gosh! Here, hold on.
And rich.
This
something.
we can watch.
Gross.
Just so you can see like 2 seconds.
Hey, Ace family.
Welcome back to
I hate this already.
guys.
What's going on,
So just like
everybody? If you are new to this channel, make
these
sure you
people.
subscribe.
So that's the
and
mom
join
and the
family.
dad.
So it's been quite some
And they're
time
just
since
he's
we've
obviously
seen you
extreme
and
douchebag,
seen
and
us, but we're
she's
back, and we're
whatever.
better, and we're thriving.
That was a cool
And they have, it's like their. This is I'm assuming their personal chef.
Good quality of pepper.
But what do they do?
They film themselves. He's training, high intensity training with some mask on.
Why would anybody want to watch this?
This is them.
Like, why are they rich?
This is that. Oh, look, he's doing influencer boxing.
So wait, you're saying this got him rich? Like he wasn't rich
Correct.
until he put up some videos of
Until
him
he
and
just started
his
filming
family?
his family, right? I'm assuming I'm assuming there's some sort of base income that comes with, maybe he had some sort of rich family himself, right? Like he just was a trust fund baby. Maybe she was a trust fund baby. Maybe, I don't know their actual story. I've just seen enough clips where it's like, whatever. But people get rich doing that. I mean, it's like remember Shave Carl or whatever.
No idea what any of this is.
Okay, I'm just.
You're just
my
you're
main form of thing is like YouTube. That's all I watch. So
Yeah, I'm like you're
Also,
in,
on YouTube, but I have no idea. We're on very different parts of YouTube.
I guess I just
We
know.
are.
There was a period of time where there wasn't such a thing as different sides of YouTube, and that's when
Yeah,
shit-
that was like in the 2000s. It was just like teenagers falling off skateboards
Sure.
and cats
I
doing
mean,
it.
I literally watched maybe like 2 or 3 things on YouTube, maybe 2 things even, 2 things consistently, and one of them is not an internet thing. It's
I like YouTube.
Last Week Tonight with John Oliver.
Yeah.
Like I watched that,
So-
and then I
YouTube
watched.
people discuss things or like have some sort of like something to think about, conversational kind of thing. I don't like to just watch people do things.
And then and then I watch Good Mythical Morning.
Yeah.
I watch that basically every day. That's like what I watch the most, and then Hot Ones. Like that's pretty much the extent of like things that I consistently watch.
Yeah. I just
I don't really browse. Like, do you browse around a lot and like,
No.
oh, what is this
No.
channel? What is that channel?
I just
And I feel
exist.
like you
I
know
just
all of these YouTube
correct because I just
type
exist in the space. It's like if you really loved music to a point of like, really being into it, like that was your life. You had a music review blog. It's just something you really cared about. You would just exist in those spaces. You might not listen to a certain band, but you would read an article about them, or you would know the gossip. You would
Okay.
know which bands are breaking up or which bands are whatever. I'm
But
the
you
same
don't
with
even
YouTube.
watch them?
Huh?
But you don't even watch them, or you actually have watched them?
I've never seen a single Ace Family video.
I didn't even know they
Oh,
existed.
okay.
but
I've
you
only just seen
started
clips,
talking
and
about
they're just the most infamous example of people exploiting their children for profit on YouTube. And that's like a big controversy. So I just know
Children are a
of it.
big part of this episode today for lots of different reasons, and none of it's
Sorry?
positive. I said children are a big part of today's episode, and none of it's positive.
Children are a big part of our future in the world, and that's why we care so much.
It's very wholesome.
But it's like I've never seen an episode about the Kardashians, but I know everything about them by being
You
forced
probably
to.
that's funny. I bet you know more about I've seen the Kardashians, and I bet you know more about the Kardashians than
I
I
agree.
do.
I mean, I dated someone that was obsessed with them. Like, I just know everything
Yeah,
about them.
I've always yeah.
But I've never seen the full episode, right?
Me neither.
I
don't
just
Or
think.
the
Like
housewives, the Real Housewives.
I don't know
any of
that I
that
know
crap.
nothing about.
None of
Yeah.
that.
But I know
And it's only
like,
from being like dating people that I like.
yeah, like I know the memes. Like I know that lady has a song that's like "Tardy to the Party" or
Oh,
whatever.
they have the cat. The cat. That's the best meme ever with the fucking cat where she's like yelling.
Oh, that's
And
what the
it's just
salad cat thing's from.
Yes, it's from Real Housewives.
I know, that's awesome. That's actually so sick.
Yeah, that's one of I don't like memes anymore. I remember like years and years and years ago, pretty much probably when memes like when people started calling memes like shortly after that. Like that's like my meme like heyday when I found all this shit so funny. But there's very rarely do I see something modern like a modern day meme and actually think it's funny. But that cat that cat picture fucking gets me every time.
I love that. So, speaking of cats, I think we should go. Oh, I think we should go visit a crab. This is the end of the show. For the first time, now that I actually have everything organized and all my screens up, we're gonna raid out to to another Twitch streamer. Woo! Before we go, does anyone have any closing remarks? Blaze?
As always, I'm a Pisces.
Johnny?
Stay moist.
What'd you say?
Stay moist.
Okay. And I'm going to say, you know what? Actually, stay completely arid dry.
No, don't listen to him.
And,
Dry.
and I will get the last word because my finger is the one hovering over the raid button. So I will say, stay dry, bye.
Moist.